Hola chicos, en este video vamos a hablar de la semana 7. So this video is for my SVL students. We are now entering week 7, which is from this past weekend till the end of this week, Friday. So if you are still working on Unit 1, which is this green unit, make sure you're getting that wrapped up. If you're on a success plan, make sure you're working through the success plan, staying on track, okay? Remember, if you do not see this project appear in coursework for you, it's because you haven't gotten the minimum score on those previous assignments. So you always want to make sure you're going back, resubmitting anything that you got less than a 3 on or that you're not happy with, okay? So if you're on track heading into Unit 2, we are in week 7. We're going to start a new unit, and the unit, which of course you can go to coursework, Unit 2 is called Una Rutina Diferente. Now, it's really important to remember that this interactive chalkboard is such a good tool for you because if you go through it, will give you all the words, right? It's not going to give you the definitions of the words because that's not the idea, but it's going to give you the words in context, okay? So when you're doing activities and maybe you get feedback from me that says you need to use the vocab from this chapter, this is what I'm referring to. You need to use this vocab. So just remember, by clicking around anywhere, it'll start to drop in, it'll read to you.
El espejo.
Okay, so that's a really important tool. At the end or towards the end of every interactive chalkboard, you have your master vocab list. Okay, you also have before that some cultural readings. Okay, and then prior to that you do have grammar. So lots of things available for you to access. Make sure you're doing that. So once we have that, the first assignment is Vocabulario en Vivo, okay? It's a pretty long video. You're going to want to make sure you've familiarized yourself with the vocabulary first before you watch the video, okay? So let's take a look at what you need to do with that. There we go. Nora gives 3 typical everyday routines. So write any of those that you remember, okay? Try and get at least 3, okay? Choose the statements based on what you saw and what you heard. Here, we're using this gustar. Gustar talks about things you like, right? And you have 2 sets of girls that she shows in the video. She shows the 2 girls that go for the trek, and then she shows the 2 girls at Machu Picchu. I want you to answer this question about the pair of girls you see first, okay? Here, this is about the second half of the video. So barco is the word she uses for boat, so that will make sense. She asked a little boy to identify certain parts of your body, like where's your nose, where's your ears, and all that. So the idea here would be to write as many down as you can. Remember, this should be in Spanish, okay? This should be in Spanish, this should be in Spanish. The whole objective of this assignment is to practice your vocab. So if you're writing me a bunch of stuff in English, it's not really helping you increase your vocab. So you just want to keep that in mind. Especially, you're only asked to list stuff. Here, write a list of items that one uses in everyday hygiene. So she talks about like your hairbrush and a bar of soap and all those things. So that's where you should list them here, okay? And then 3 activities shown in the video that indicate a change of pace from the daily routine. So you have a certain daily routine she discusses at the beginning and what could change that a little bit, okay? So again, these are activities. That means they should be actions or verbs. So make sure you're using infinitives there. So that's the first thing. The next thing you're going to want to do is go to the blog. Let me see if I have it open. There we go. El camping. You're going to use the vocab from this chapter, and I'm going to repeat that, from this chapter to talk about camping, okay? So you're going to read through this. It might take you a couple times to read through that. That's okay. Make sure you're taking the time to read through this. Basically, you're telling a friend what they need to bring camping, and you're telling them why. Debes comes from the verb deber, which means to should, and traer is one of the verbs that we just studied as a yoga verb. So here it's saying you should bring a tent to avoid the rain, okay? In each of these, you need to use para and then an infinitive. Para means a lot of things, but when you place it before an infinitive, like in this case, para evitar, para lavarte, when you put it in infinitive in that way, what it's saying is in order to. So bring a tent in order to avoid the rain. Bring shampoo in order to wash your hair. Okay? So that's what they're looking for there. Again, We've got a target here. We're using the vocab from this unit with related verbs and kind of tying it all together. All right. After that, you do have a vocab quiz. One thing I will tell you that this is also password protected. So if you have a 3 or better on these previous assignments, oh, that's not the right one. Sorry about that. There we go. If you have a 3 or better here, then go ahead and take the vocab quiz. Otherwise, don't take it, obviously, because I won't give you the password. If you want to hold off on taking the vocab quiz until you get to next week, I think that would be okay. All right. And then, of course, you've got your Rosetta Stone Hour 6, and that's it for this week. A couple things I want to touch on, and I will include a video with this, are what we call infinitive phrases. I know some students have been having a hard time. These are things that are from first year. So, tener que plus any infinitive would means to have to. So, for example, I could say, tengo que, in my infinitive, estudiar. I have to study, okay? Ir plus a is kind of how we talk about the future. So I'm going to conjugate it, voy a, and then estudiar. I'm going to study. Deber, I just mentioned that, is should. So debo, for yo, estudiar. I should study. So that's just a brief explanation for some of you who just need a quick reminder. If you're like, I have no idea what she's still talking about, I will include an extra grammar video this week for those infinitive phrases, okay? If you have any questions, as always, let me know. Make sure you're making that weekly contact, and I'll see you next time. Bye.